Get out of your head, Travis. Get out of your head. Why always in your head?
I don't know.
Always in your head.
Always in my head.
Get out of your head.
I know. It's not that easy.
It ain't that easy to get out of your head. But we tell our athletes all the time, you got to get out of your head. You got to get out of your head.
Just stop thinking about it.
Just stop thinking about it. We have to teach them how to get out of their head, and that's exactly what we're going to do today, guys. This whole fun thing that Coach Travis so beautifully drew up, way cleaner, way cutter than I could have ever done it. Crisper. Guys, really though, getting out of your head is as easy as getting out of bed, but it takes work, and it takes maybe learning something new that you've never learned before. Getting out of your head is as easy as getting out of bed. We're going to start using that.
But the big thing is, for some people, getting out of bed is not easy.
Right,
So,
right. Exactly. That's a good parallel. So here's the deal. There are 4 things that you have to do to get out of your head, because if you're in your head, there is no way you can be in the zone. Those 2 things don't happen. As an athlete, as a person, if you're in your head, you are not in the zone. You can't be in both places at once. Here's the deal. Handy dandy marker.
Oh yeah.
To get out of your head and into the zone, we'll start with you or your athlete identifying what exactly does it mean to be in your head.
Yeah, so usually being in your head, you're having what we call that stinking thinking. You're having negative thoughts. You're having unhelpful conversations in your head. And ultimately, as an athlete, if you're having these negative dialogues in your head, you're not playing to your potential. I have a lot of baseball and softball players, and every sport has its challenges. But hitting a baseball is really stinking hard.
Right.
When I was younger, I couldn't do it. So if you're going to the plate with that negative dialogue, it's almost a given that you're not going to be hitting the ball to your potential.
So true. And I think that the way this shows up when we hear athletes talking to us, the way it shows up in their mind, and it actually helps when they share this with us to begin with, one of the 4 pillars, the way it shows up in their mind is, oh, that guy's faster than me. Oh, that girl's better than me. I didn't get to practice very much this week. Oh, I don't think I can do it. Oh, I'm not good enough. And that's what the story going on in their head is, but we never know it because they never verbalize that. So we're going to give you a little sneak peek. Pillar number 2. Pillar number 2 of this 4-pillar formula, we're going to give you a sneak peek into what we're talking about this month. We're not going to give you the other 3 yet, though. Pillar number 2 is get it out, right? If you want to get out of your head and into the zone, one of the rules, one of the principles of this is you have to get it out of your head, which is probably the number 1 thing that I would find, that we find is the worst thing that athletes are good at, kids in general nowadays, is verbalizing what's going on up there, right?
Yeah.
Don't you want to know, like, what is my kid really thinking? Like, that's what I think a lot of parents and coaches want to know. What are my athletes really thinking? What's going on up there?
Yeah, and the big thing is you'll find athletes nowadays, now more than ever, they're afraid to be vulnerable. So they might have these thoughts going in their head, whether it's with a teammate, whether it's with a coach, and instead of just having the conversation that they need to have or getting their thoughts out of their mouth, they internalize it. And just like anything else, when we internalize it, it's like kicking that snowball down a hill. It festers, it gets bigger, it gets bigger, it gets bigger. And that's why usually when people are in a slump, it takes a long time to get out of that slump because they're not going to verbalize it, right? And that snowball's getting bigger and bigger, and it's impacting them more and more.
I think it always goes back to looking within ourselves first as the leaders, as the parents, as the coaches, and saying, how good am I at this one? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, how often am I sharing what's going on up here with my kids, right? With my athletes or with my spouse? If you're a head coach and you're talking with your other coaches, I mean, are your players getting to see what it actually looks like to do this one? This one, guys, the reason why we're sharing this one today with you is because this is what causes the anxiety, the stress, the overwhelm, the decreased performance because of self-doubt, is people staying in their heads. It's the simplest way, but it's the hardest way because we are emotional beings and our pride gets in the way, our ego gets in the way. So if we can learn to do this one, and hey, this is a learned behavior. Yeah. So if they see you doing more of it and sharing what's going on in your mind and sharing the doubts that you have personally, that's the best way, man. This one's going to cause fear and doubt more than anything else. Keeping stuff up in your head, right?
Yeah. And one thing that, before we dive into this next month, we're going to be uncovering 1, 2, 3, and 4, what you got to today, is the foundation for this all to work, right? And the foundation for this all to work is physical preparation, right? You can think about dunking a basketball all day, you can visualize it, you can think about it, you can talk about it, but if you don't put in the work, chances are you're not going to get there. I'm not going to think my way to a 5-minute mile. I had to train my butt off to get that, and really not a goal for mine, so I'm not going to get juiced up, I'm not going to go after that one. But I can't think and talk about it and make it happen. I got to put in that physical preparation. Kobe Bryant, I'm fascinated. He's one of those athletes, he stays in the zone, right? He has that it factor, and that's staying in the zone. And he was asked, why isn't he afraid to take the big shot at the end of the game? And his answer was, I've taken that same shot 1,000,000 times in practice before. So that physical preparation, that's muscle memory for him at that point. It's just a different stage. So fascinated by those guys, but physical preparation, that's laying the foundation for this stuff to help you hit your peak performance.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, this is one of the secrets to a high-performing student athlete. I mean, if you are a kid, or you're the parent of a kid who wants to achieve their best, which not everyone does, and not everyone's very serious about that, but if you're somebody that wants to achieve your ultimate potential, this is the formula for that. But this is also just the formula for not having anxiety, not being stressed, not having fears and doubts and worries dominate your life. So once you guys know these other three, that's where the magic's going to come, because they all tie in together. It's kind of like building a house. You can't have the foundation and then miss a window. You have to have everything going in order for that thing to be working the right way. So step one, guys, if this week, if we could challenge you to do one thing, whatever's going on up here, right, get it out of your head. Get it out. Share it with somebody, or at least step one is journal it.
Yeah.
I think that for me is one of the easiest ways to get stuff out of my head if I'm not like ready to tell Travis what my negative thoughts are. At least journaling it gets it out of my head and onto paper. These are just small tips, guys. We're going to be diving deep into this because this is our sweet spot, how to be in the zone more. We all want to be in the zone. We all want to be in a state of flow more, because when we're flowing, we're going. So remember, getting out of your head is as simple as getting out of bed. Not everybody always likes to do that, though. That's why we press that snooze button. Don't press the snooze button on this lesson. This month, don't press that snooze button.
Yeah, and my challenge for you, make it happen, right? Take action. If it's hard at first, the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's simple, but simple isn't always easy. So make this happen this week, and I promise you it's going to start giving you steps in the right direction to getting in the zone. Whether it's a better work environment or taking that field and having a little bit extra juice and making plays. So take action on it and see what happens.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Peace.